Okay, so for this project, you're going to be downloading basically a complete game, or at least the framework for games. I'm calling it 2DGameKit, and I'm going to press play and sort of walk you through how it works. It works with keyboard controls as well as gamepad controls. So as soon as this presses play, you could use the mouse to click the play button. You can press enter on your keyboard. You'll see a countdown timer start. So you have 5 seconds to get to your destination. If you don't make it in time, you'll see the level restarts. And so I can press spacebar to jump and arrow keys to move. When you hit a door, you're going to see that it advances you to the next level. And there's a number of different obstacles and objects that you can interact with, including these boxes that you can get on top of in order to jump higher places. These pink boxes are bouncy boxes. And so if you need to get really high, you can jump up here and you can make it to the end of the level. Level 3 takes you back to the beginning page. So that is sort of the framework. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to essentially work on level design. So you're going to take this as the framework and you're going to just basically mod this to make this fun. Obviously, level 1 is really easy, but that's sort of what you want so that you can train the players what they're supposed to do. They see that the level restarts. Oh, I got to get to the door. I do want to walk you through how some of this works. You'll see that Tommy right here, he is a character right here that we can use in various scenes. He's got a rigid body 2D, a circle collider, and a box collider. If you double click on here, you'll see sort of how it's constructed. I'm using something called skeletal animation. So if I click on the animation right here panel, you can see the different animations that exist. I could actually preview them right here. So here's my little idle animation. One thing that's kind of neat is you can essentially ragdoll move this guy around. So if I wanted to, I could go to this 1 second point, hit this record button, and I can tilt Tommy's head back like so. I'll hit stop right there, and I'll sort of show you that the animation now sort of moves Tommy all around like so. So if you want to play around with the animation a little bit, you are welcome to do that. I'm going to stop this, and I'm going to undo what I just did because I like the way that it was. Now, you can also see that Tommy has an idle, a jump, a land, a walk. The animator, shows you how those are all strung together right in here. So you're probably not going to need to, or even really want to, adjust, the Tommy character, but it is an option if you want to play around with that. What is probably more interesting to you is how to adjust the scene. So this is a static 2D platformer, so the camera is going to basically stay stationary, but you can change the view of the camera, which I'll show you in a second. The thing to know is sort of how this all works. The game engine, this is where you can set the timer. So right here, I'm programmatically changing it so that it has 5 seconds on the countdown on level 1, and this is the timer text that is sort of displaying all of that. Notice the door game object right here. It's nested inside of it as a door collider, and attached to the door collider is this level collider script. And so when Tommy's box collider bumps in with the door collider, it's going to advance to whatever level I tell it to go to. So I could just type in the name of the level, which is right here. So let me jump to level 2. You can see that this box right here, the box is a prefab. So I can add additional boxes to my game if I wanted to, or to my scene if I wanted to. So just click and drag it into the hierarchy, and it's got a rigid body 2D, it's got box colliders, and so if I just press play right here, you can see that Tommy can now interact with these 2 boxes. So I want you to think of the different elements here that you're going to sort of combine together in interesting ways so that you can create fun, interesting levels. And so these boxes are just one sort of example of what you could add. Other things that you can play around with, I'm going to get rid of this box just because I don't need it anymore. Additional things that you could play around with, I'm going to zoom out right here. If I go to my main camera, here's where I could create a bigger world, so to speak. So right now the size of my camera is 100. If I made it 200, well, now I have twice as much space right here, though I do have to adjust my boundaries. And so the boundaries right here have a ceiling, a wall, left wall, right wall, and ground. And so I'm going to have to take, for example, the ground, and I have to lower it down so that it fits better into my scene. Now this is sort of extreme. This is, doubling the amount of space in my level, but we're sort of demonstrating. And here I have to adjust the scale. So maybe I'll make that like 700. Looks like that's not quite enough, so let's go 750. And so now, that entire object, the box collider and everything, is going to adjust. So if I press play right here on level 2, you would see that time is going to fall all the way down into this newly placed ground. Of course, this is barely even halfway done because I've got these other elements in weird spaces. And again, this is sort of extreme, very zoomed out. But at the same time, if I undo everything that I just did here, there we go. I could zoom in, so I could go to half the size right here. So now I'm zoomed in. This just gives you a sense for how you can adjust these various settings. All right, so I'm going to save that. Notice that in my prefab folder, I also have platforms. And so here's probably what you're going to spend the most amount of time is playing around with the boxes, the bouncy boxes, and then the platforms. So you just simply drag one of these up into the hierarchy, and you'll see that now you have the ability to create another sort of element. So if I press play right here, there's no rigid body 2D on these platforms, and you can just go ahead and position them wherever you want to create all sorts of different levels. You could create mazes. You can really do whatever you want. Notice right here, I could take this boundary and I could change the scale. Let me get out of this mode. I could click on my platform right here. If I wanted to make it vertical, I just make this 10 and I make this whatever I want it to be. So you're again going to design and play around with these different settings. I'm going to get rid of this so that level 2 is preserved to the way it was. Most importantly, you're probably going to want to keep level 1, 2, and 3 maybe similar, but sort of make the levels introduce the different mechanics of the game, and then you're going to add additional levels. And so here, if I right click, or actually if I press Control D, I can duplicate this level. So now I have a level 4, which I can double click into. I don't want to save that. So here is where you can really just sort of go bananas. However, you're going to have to go to level 3. And notice right here, I'm in level 3. Go to the door collider, and you're going to have to say, hey, go ahead and open up level 4. All right, not level 0, but level 4. And then level 4, you'll see once you're in level 4, I'll get rid of the bouncy box just so that we can see that it's a little bit different. I will add a prefab that is a platform right here. I will increase its height so you can jump up onto it. I'm going to change the scale to 50. I'll sort of knock that over right here. I'm going to duplicate this one more time like so. And I'll duplicate this one more time like so. So now you can see that I've just created without too much trouble a new level 4. I don't think it's necessarily the best level that has ever existed, but if I press play, you're going to see that my level 4, it gives me something like 10 seconds from the time that it starts for me to make my way to the top right here, and then it takes me back to level 0. So again, you're going to have about a week or two to play around with the 2D game kit, make it uniquely yours. You can change all of the background elements. These are just little sprite triangles. You can get rid of them. You can change their colors, as you see right here. You can change the color, modes, and have some fun with this and try to make your game uniquely different than everybody else's. Make sure that you save your progress as you go, and eventually we'll build these for WebGL and post them online to play. Good luck!